opinion on your skin removal, right?
I don't understand why y'all think I'm the bad one here.
Let it go, Elsa.
For years, fans of 1000 Delby Sisters have been captivated by Amy and Tammy Slaton. Their struggles, triumphs, and unfiltered personalities made them reality TV stars and household names. But behind the spotlight lies another story, one of silence, exclusion, and deep betrayal. That story belongs to their sister, Misty Slaton. While Amy and Tammy's journeys brought them fame, surgeries, endorsements, and wealth, Misty was pushed aside, left in the shadows of her own family's rise. Her voice was muted, her struggles dismissed, and her contributions undervalued. For years, she watched her sisters profit while she remained invisible. What emerges from Misty's untold narrative is not just sibling rivalry, but a troubling portrait of family politics, financial manipulation, and the darker realities of television fame. Life in the background when 1000 Delby Sisters debuted. Audiences were immediately hooked on Amy and Tammy's humor, honesty, and struggles with obesity. They became icons almost overnight, landing magazine spreads, sponsorships, and viral attention. Misty, however, was rarely seen. She appeared in family gatherings or supportive scenes, but never as a central figure. According to insiders, this was no accident. Misty had reportedly approached producers, even requesting to share her personal story, but she was denied repeatedly. TLC's reasoning was blunt. The audience only wanted Amy and Tammy. Her exclusion wasn't just about screen time. It cost her opportunities for exposure, brand deals, and financial independence. While her sisters thrived, Misty remained on the sidelines, watching her family's story unfold without her. Emotional toll of betrayal, the absence stung deeply. Misty wasn't just a side character, she was family. She supported her sisters through surgeries, health scares, and emotional struggles, yet was treated as disposable. Friends say Misty often confided feelings of betrayal, believing Amy and Tammy intentionally sidelined her to keep the spotlight. To her, this wasn't just television politics, it was personal. She watched her sisters celebrated as strong, inspiring women while her own challenges were deemed unworthy of attention. Behind closed doors, the pain grew heavier. Misty reportedly battled loneliness and invisibility, wondering why her voice didn't matter. The emotional toll wasn't limited to the show either. In interviews and public appearances, Amy and Tammy often spoke for the family, leaving Misty entirely voiceless. Shut out of the money if being ignored on screen was hurtful. Being excluded financially was devastating. Reality TV fame doesn't just bring exposure, it brings money. Amy and Tammy took full advantage of their stardom, signing endorsement deals, booking appearances, and securing TLC contracts that ensured steady income. Misty, however, was almost entirely cut out. Sources claim she was paid little to nothing for her appearances. Even when she participated in major family moments like surgeries or holidays. Beyond the show, she was excluded from sponsorships and merchandise opportunities that carried the Slaton name. Friends allege this was intentional. By limiting Misty's involvement, Amy and Tammy secured control over the family brand and the profits. For Misty, the exclusion wasn't just financial. It confirmed that her contributions were undervalued and unwanted. TLC's tight grip the network also played a role. Reality TV contracts are notoriously restrictive, limiting cast members' ability to earn outside the show. Misty's situation was reportedly even worse. Her contract gave TLC, and indirectly, her sisters control over her ability to monetize her name. Amy and Tammy, with larger fan bases and more leverage, secured better deals and more freedom. Misty, with little bargaining power, was forced into unfavorable terms. Her contributions were undervalued, her earnings limited, and her financial independence restricted. The result, while her sisters built careers from their fame, Misty struggled to gain a foothold. Allegations of manipulated finances, insiders claim the family's financial setup went even further. Earnings from the show, social media, and merchandise were allegedly distributed in ways that favored Amy and Tammy while excluding Misty almost entirely. Some sources even suggest deliberate manipulation, decisions made to ensure Misty had no financial leverage, by controlling the money and excluding her from negotiations. Amy and Tammy reportedly tightened their grip on both the family narrative and its profits. For Misty, the betrayal was not just professional, but personal. Watching her sisters thrive while she was cut out of family earnings left her feeling bitter and helpless. The emotional weight of exclusion, the long-term impact of this exclusion, has been profound. Friends describe Misty as someone who has always valued family above all else. To be sidelined both on screen and off was crushing. The emotional weight of seeing her sisters celebrated while she remained invisible reportedly took a toll on her mental health. She questioned her worth and felt erased from the public version of her family's story. Her silence in public, friends say, was a strategy, a way to avoid creating conflict or being branded ungrateful. But privately, the wounds ran deep. Breaking the silence after years of staying quiet, insiders believe Misty is finally ready to speak. If she does, her revelations could dramatically reshape how fans view the Slaton family. The carefully crafted image of Amy and Tammy as underdogs turned stars could unravel, replaced by a narrative of favoritism, exploitation, and betrayal. Misty's perspective could reveal a much darker reality, not only about her sisters, but about the nature of reality TV itself. The bigger picture, reality TV's dark side, Misty's experience, highlights a larger truth. Reality television is rarely reality. What viewers see on screen is a curated storyline designed for ratings. Characters are chosen, roles are assigned, and narratives are manipulated to maximize drama. In this case, Amy and Tammy were elevated while Misty was sidelined. The result was compelling television, but it came at the cost of one sister's voice, livelihood, and dignity. Her story serves as a warning. Not everyone in reality TV benefits equally, and not every story is deemed worthy of airtime. Some lives are silenced for the sake of the show. Fame, family, and betrayal at its core. Misty's story is about betrayal. Betrayal by a network that profited from her family's struggles while erasing her from the narrative. Betrayal by sisters who embraced the spotlight while keeping her in the dark. And betrayal by a system that rewarded fame but punished those who weren't marketable enough. While Amy and Tammy built wealth, visibility, and power, Misty was left invisible and financially unstable. While they shared their voices with the world, she remained silent. But her silence won't last forever. Friends believe Misty is preparing to tell her side of the story, and when she does, it could be explosive. Conclusion: the untold narrative for years. Misty Slaton has lived in the shadows of her sister's fame. She has been silenced, excluded, and betrayed emotionally, financially, and publicly. Yet her story is just as real and just as important as Amy and Tammy's. Her journey forces us to look beyond the edited scenes of reality television and confront the human cost behind the entertainment. It asks us to question the narratives we're fed and the people left behind when cameras stop rolling. When Misty finally steps into the spotlight, the truth about the Slaton family and the reality of 1,000 Delby sisters may be far more complicated. It's painful and shocking than fans ever imagined. You
could have stayed away from him.
I tried.
If this was the other way around.
For years, fans of 1,000 Pound sisters have watched Amy and Tammy Slaton rise to fame as the faces of one of TLC's most popular reality shows. Their chaotic arguments, emotional breakdowns, and dramatic medical battles made for addictive television, drawing millions of viewers each season. But while the spotlight burned brightly on Amy and Tammy, their sister Misty Slaton stood in the shadows. She was there during family gatherings, hospital visits, and crises, but rarely at the center. To most viewers, she was little more than a background character. What fans didn't see, however, was a story of exclusion, betrayal, and resilience that has been quietly unfolding behind the cameras. Misty's narrative is not just about being left out of a reality show. It's about financial manipulation, emotional neglect, and a hidden health struggle that TLC allegedly chose to ignore. It's a story that forces us to ask uncomfortable questions about family loyalty, network priorities, and the true cost of fame. Exclusion beyond the cameras, insiders close to the family claim Misty's absence from the spotlight was not accidental. From the earliest seasons, Amy and Tammy controlled both the storyline and the flow of opportunities. Friends of Misty describe the sisters as gatekeepers, deliberately limiting how much screen time Misty could have and what projects she could pursue. Despite being part of the same family, Misty often had to request permission to participate in ventures involving the Slaton name, even when she contributed behind the scenes or appeared in an episode. Her compensation was reportedly far below what she was owed. This imbalance wasn't just financial, it reinforced a power dynamic where Misty was kept in an inferior position. For years, she stayed quiet, choosing survival over confrontation. Sources suggest Misty knew that speaking out would not only risk her limited appearances, but also fracture family relationships even further. So she endured, swallowing disappointment while her sisters became household names. The financial betrayal to viewers. It may have seemed like every member of the Slaton family benefited equally from TLC's success, but insiders paint a much darker picture. Amy and Tammy earned sizable paychecks from TLC contracts, brand sponsorships, and social media deals. Their names were tied to merchandise, cameo appearances, and paid endorsements. Misty, on the other hand, was left with little to nothing. Even when she joined her sisters during family events, medical crises, or emotional moments, all of which helped fuel the show's drama, her role was minimized or edited down. The result was devastating. Misty had no real chance to build her own platform or personal brand. In other words, TLC's editing choices didn't just silence her story. They cut off her ability to earn. This financial exclusion went far beyond television paychecks. Reports suggest Misty was deliberately left out of business alliances, retail promotions, and sponsorship deals involving the Slaton name. Two fans, Amy and Tammy, appeared to represent the financial success of the whole family. Behind the scenes, Misty was struggling, sidelined from the opportunities her sisters embraced. Friends described the emotional toll as overwhelming. Misty's loyalty and hard work were constantly disregarded, leaving her with the bitter reality that her contributions were undervalued and her efforts unacknowledged. Silence as a survival strategy. One of the most painful aspects of Misty's story is the silence she was forced into. Her decision not to publicly complain was an agreement. It was a survival tactic. By keeping quiet, Misty avoided triggering open conflict with Amy, Tammy, and the network. She also protected what little access she had to the show, hoping that one day her patience would pay off. But that silence came at a cost. Insiders say Misty often confided in close friends, sharing her frustration, anger, and loneliness. Privately, she admitted feeling invisible in her own family's empire. Every season reinforced the message that her story didn't matter. But now, those same insiders claim Misty has reached her breaking point. After years of betrayal, she is reportedly preparing to reclaim her voice, her story, and possibly even her share of the family's profits. Hidden health struggles, if the financial and emotional betrayals weren't enough. Misty has also been quietly fighting a serious medical battle, one TLC allegedly chose not to film. Sources reveal that Misty struggled with weight-related issues, cardiovascular stress, and metabolic complications. Her journey involved treatments, hospital stays, lifestyle adjustments, similar to what Amy and Tammy went through on camera. Yet producers dismissed her story, allegedly telling her it wasn't dramatic enough for television. The rejection was crushing. While her sister's medical emergencies became primetime entertainment, Misty's real and equally serious health struggles were deemed unworthy of airtime. Friends say the decision left her feeling invisible, not just as a sister, but as a human being fighting for survival. The double standard is glaring. TLC celebrated Amy and Tammy's hospital visits as powerful turning points, while Misty's challenges were ignored. That choice raises serious ethical questions. Was her life not considered profitable enough? Family complicity. What makes Misty's pain even harder to bear is the role her sisters allegedly played. Sources claim